Here is something that I swear by. Failure to plan is like planning to fail. And so I have been a religious planner, goal scheduler, all of the things since I would say around 2015 when I first found out about coaching. And so it has completely changed my life, given me clarity, focus, direction, and even hope at times when I felt like things were not working out the way that I wanted them to. And so I'm going to walk you through some of the steps that I am taking just to get clear on what my goals are for quarter two of 2026. And so yesterday I had some time to actually get out my notepad and start to write down what it is that I want to accomplish and what it is that I want to do over the next 3 months. And so it's actually going to be a very busy period for us, but I wanted to share with you what exactly that looks like and what the process is like for me. And so the first thing that I do is I try to break it down into categories. And so this time around, you just see scribbles on this book. But this time around, I broke it down into health and wellness, business and finances, and faith, fun, and family, because I like the alliteration. And so I had these 3 categories, and I started to think of all the things that I wanted to do in those 3 areas. And so health and wellness is particularly important to me right now because I've had some blood tests done recently. I'm still a breastfeeding mom, and so my energy levels have been down a little bit. My dizziness has been happening a little bit more often than usual. And so I have had these blood tests, and I know from those results that I have low ferritin, which is iron absorption. And the other thing that I learned recently is that I'm actually pre-diabetic. Even though I'm thin, even though I've never had an issue with my weight, I'm pre-diabetic. And that tells me that my body is not absorbing protein the way that it should be, because basically I'm not eating that much sugar, but I think because I'm eating carbs like pizza, pasta, breads, things like that, it's turning into sugar in my body. And so I just have to figure out how to help those things along by eating the right foods, but also in the right way. And so that's been for sure a goal of mine over the next 3 months. And I also mentioned that I want to do daily exercise. And so I exercise for the most part Monday to Friday every week, for the most part. And I'm actually going to be shifting my type of exercise over the next 3 months because my gym membership or my Pilates membership runs out on April 21st. And my husband bought me for Christmas this boxing membership that I'm going to try to, I guess, claim. I don't know what the word is, but I'm gonna try to basically start that one. And so he's already paid for it. He bought me some like gloves and some shorts, so I'm gonna try it out. And I had a boxing class this Wednesday with my son, and it was amazing and really fun, and I was dripping in sweat. And so I'm like, okay, maybe this is like something that I can do to just mix things up a bit, challenge myself in a different way, start to build more muscle and things like that. And so another thing that I have on my health and wellness category is taking a few tests. Like I said, I already have some blood work done that shows how my hormones are reacting to right now my low iron and things like that. But I want to go a step further, and I want to have a gut test. And I also want to have some other like screenings just to make sure that everything's okay and that my body is working the way that it needs to. And so the second category is business and finances. And so for me, one of the big things that I want to complete just for my own satisfaction, but also to share my story and my journey with you, is to finish my challenge that I set a few months ago to finish 100 videos in 100 days. And so it looks like I'm going to finish this challenge around end of May or so, if I can stay on track with my numbers of videos that I release every single week. And so that's for sure a goal of mine. I know that I'm gonna feel so excited when I get to the end of that, because it really means that I have this library of videos that I can share and direct people to for resources and aspects of my story. But it also means that I kept a promise to myself, and it was so hard. I was like, are you serious? One of my mentors had given me this challenge, and I thought she was crazy because I have 2 kids and life is so crazy busy. But I wanted to keep this promise to not her just only, but to myself most importantly. And so that's one of my biggest goals for the next quarter. And I also have some work projects that I need to finish and bring to completion. And so that's another goal of mine, to just get all of those projects off of my plate, off the table, so that I can continue to focus on other things that I have in relation to content creation, but more importantly, coaching. And then the third category is faith, fun, and family. And so these are all the personal things that make life enjoyable, make life fun. One of the big things that we have over the next couple of months that's coming up is my husband's 40th birthday. And so I know I have to do something big, something special for that. And so I'm just trying to figure out what to do and how to make sure that he feels super special and super loved and is surrounded by lots of good people and good energy. And so that's pretty much it for the most part in relation to some of the goals that I've written down. But the other thing that I would really suggest if you are going to be planning out your quarter for April, May, and June is keep it simple. Try to think of maybe 3 goals under each of those 3 categories so that you are not overwhelming yourself, so that you're not trying to bite off more than you can chew, so that you're not putting too much on your plate when life is already so busy. Focus specifically on 3 things for each of those categories and make sure that you can actually bring those things to fruition. And then the last thing that I would say and to suggest is to schedule different things in. And so in my case, I know that I want to have certain tests done in relation to my health and my gut. So actually making those appointments, scheduling it in so I have it in a calendar, so I have it in a diary. It needs to be something that moves from just an idea to something that's tangible. In relation to my YouTube, I know that I have a date in mind in late May, early June to finish this challenge. And once I do that, I know that I'm gonna be relieved, like I mentioned, but also it's gonna free up some time and energy for me to focus on other things that I wanna try, like Instagram and other platforms that I really want to ease up on YouTube, maybe just create 1 higher quality video per week, and also create shorter content. That's my goal for that. But like I said, just scheduling it into your calendar. If you have a calendar, even if you have something on your computer or your phone or a hard copy, just make sure that you put it in, pencil in the date. You can always change it and move it back if you have to, rearrange things. But this helps for sure so that you have an idea of what's coming up in the next week, in the next month, so that you can stay on top of everything. And so those would be my 3 suggestions if you're going to try this. It really does help. It's really been something that helps me to focus and helps me to get really clear on what the next 3 months are going to look and feel like. And I always like to even imagine what I'm going to feel like at the end of those 3 months if I accomplish these things. And I also try to, just another tidbit, instead of thinking about results and numbers. So for instance, my goals are not, I'm going to reach 10,000 followers in the next 3 months. And the reason why I haven't set goals like that, and I'm more so putting it in terms of my output versus results, is because you can control your output. You can control the work that you put in, but you can't always control the numbers. You can't control the algorithm. You can't control how many people see or engage with your material, right? And so it's so much easier if we can just control our actions and make sure that we're doing our part to meet the goals that we've set for ourselves. And so it does definitely add up, and I think it does compound, because you realize at the end of the year, wow, look at what I've accomplished. Look at these many goals that I set, and look at how far I've come in the last 365 days. So that's what I'm doing this quarter. Let me know in the comments if you're going to join me and if you're going to create a plan for the next 3 months and what it is that you want to bring to fruition. I'd love to hear. Anyways, I'm going to sign off for now, and just let me know in the comments if you have anything that you are working on in the next 3 months. Talk to you soon.